for our purposes, we'd like to focus on Super Series 1976, the first time the Soviets sent club teams to compete against the NHL teams in the battle for world bragging rights.
The passion and fury of hockey has often been best exhibited in competitions featuring Canada and the Soviet Union.
Canada had it. Let's get it out. Watch this. Bang, bang, in. Oh, boy, what a goal.
Following a pair of memorable September summits in 1972 and 74, the two sides welcomed Super Series 76, an 8-game series between 8 NHL teams and 2 Soviet club teams, the wings of the Soviet and Central Red Army. Opening night was December 28th at New York's Madison Square Garden as the Rangers hosted Red Army.
Harlamov at center. Harlamov coming up near the line, breaks through all alone, scores! A beautiful goal by Valery Harlamov.
A 7-3 opening game romp for the Army just whet the appetite for the remainder of the series. The games everyone awaited were upcoming, a matchup between Red Army and NHL powers Montreal and Philadelphia. Red Army were perennial Soviet League champions. Their roster read like a who's who of Soviet hockey. Tretiak, Kharlamov, and Mikhailov. Traditionally a Soviet power, New Year's Eve 1975 offered the Soviet title holders the opportunity to meet tradition square on. That in the person of the Montreal Canadiens and the Montreal Form, hockey's ultimate reputation. Unique matchups abound. Coaches Konstantin Loktev and Scotty Bowman waged a strategy war, while the two premier netminders in the world, Vladislav Tretiak and Ken Dryden, stood squarely in the eye of the Tiger.
Now Ori to Robinson. He cleared it through center.
The Canadians rocketed out of the chute. Steve Shutt on his wrong wing blasts one over the shoulder of Tretiak at 3:16 of the first period, and it's 1-0 Montreal. 4 minutes later, they expanded that margin by 1.
Lambert over the right side. He shoots at the rebound in front of the net. Takes it away.
The first period ended with the Canadians up by 2. Red Army got one back in the second period as veteran Boris Mikhailov notched his second in 2 games. However, on a power play, the Montreal Canadiens regained their 2-goal advantage.
Petrov against Lemaire. Here's Cournoyer to the third. He rips the shot just wide. Puck from the net. Cournoyer scores!
Montreal pressed hard to increase that margin, but this man, Vladislav Tretiak, barred the door in brilliant fashion.
Hero Point closing in for the shot. And Tretiak had trouble with that one. Here's Gainey with it. Gainey has it. He's centered it right in front. Here's Lemaire shooting it. And a tremendous save. Another save by Tretiak. Here's Lemaire winding up for the shot. Lemaire shoots it, and it's blocked by Tretiak. Another shot. Oh, what a save there on Lambert by Tretiak.
The Soviets got a confidence boost from Tretiak's heroics and rallied to within 1 as Valery Harlamov split the defense and the 2-goal lead to 3-2 after 2 periods. In the third, the Soviets continued their opportunistic ways.
Header Shlupkov. Shlupkov over the line. There's the pass. Alexandrov. He scores! Alexandrov. And it is tied at 3.
Both sides pushed, but the goaltenders pushed back, and the game ended 3-3. A fitting result for a game often considered hockey's finest contest.